Well, like last night we recorded an episode of another show I do called Porskin.
I did see something about that. Yeah.
Yeah. We it's nice to be able to wear two hats. You know, we can do the Shrewsbury Biscuit and be like, "Hi, we're very friendly. Come and listen to our show." But on Porskin, we can kind of let loose a bit. You know,
it's a bit more R-rated.
But I am not very good with computers. I'm not very technical. I'm not a sound engineer. I'm not a whiz on streaming and things like that. So we wanted to do the podcast live last night because Tom was away. But we were like, we'll just do it on our phones. So we propped our phones up and just recorded it on our phones.
You had Instagram, I had Facebook. We just like did live at the same time. Just put the phones next to each other against the laptop. That was it.
That's pretty much my setup. Phone on the window ledge or on the laptop.
And that's the beauty of things today is that that's all you need, man. That's all you need is to make say a message. Oh, hold on, wait a second.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I don't want to spill your coffee. Is that coffee?
Yeah, I love my coffee. I've done nothing but drink caffeine today, so I might race through this. I might be like...
Alex's wife is Colombian, see? So he's kind of now got accustomed to a certain level of coffee.
My husband's a big coffee. He likes his coffee.
I'm a bit of a coffee snob, though. You know, if I buy something... I really am. And I'll buy something from say like Lidl or something like that, and I'd be like, no. And I've actually got like 2 cups of coffee, like jars of coffee that I sat in my cupboard that I've never drank because I bought them out of chance and just didn't like them. It's got to be good, the good stuff, you know. Anyway, Louise, thank you very much for joining us on the Shrewsbury Biscuit this week. It's great to have you on. We first met at Participate, didn't we?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I was just wandering around and I just, I think I struck up a conversation with Tat, didn't I?
Yeah, Tat's great. She's lovely, and that's the beauty of doing what we do is we get to meet so many people along the way, and I love what Tat does, and she's been very supportive since I've met her actually on social media and things like that, you know. And I'm very apologetic about the audio quality of what we did at Participate because Tat was quite quiet on the audio. I had to bring her up and. With that, I brought all the echo and all the background noise of what was going on in the building, so it was really hard to control. And like I said, I'm not a sound engineer. I can use noise gates and the programs that you use. The way that the way it works is you set up.
Just nod.
Okay. Basically, a noise gate is you a maximum level of decibels and a minimum, so it goes through the whole audio and it kind of messes with it. But like it would make it sound like a robot. So I said to Tat, we'll get her on again, and I'd love to have like a good hour's chat, like what we're going to do with you. You know, find out what you're doing. So joined with me and Lou is, of course, my beautiful co-host Shane Hinton.
Hello.
How's it going? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all good.
Yeah, we had a late one last night with the other show, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was good fun though.
It was good.
A bit of housekeeping before we get on with this. I've got a few shout-outs to make. Yesterday I went to the Dragon Boat races at Penguin Boat Club.
Yeah, that's when you went in shorts and t-shirt and it rained.
Wow, it's your fault, was it?
It's quite ironic, really, because my wife works for Enterprise and they do it every year. So we went last year, and I wore like jeans and a big thick t-shirt or whatever, and I was sweltering. It was so hot, and I was kind of like, well, next year I'm not going to make the same mistake. I'm wearing shorts and t-shirt, and this year I went and it absolutely poured down. So yeah,
jinxed it.
I jinxed it.
Much.
I did.
Standard.
It was good fun. You know, you got companies that take part in the boat races. They have races down the river. It was a good fun day. Lots going on there. I also want to thank Phil Gillen for last week's episode. We had the mayor on. He was
that was amazing.
Great guest. I love that guy. There's so much going on in Shrewsbury at the moment, and he's the perfect person to speak to because he goes to everything.
Yeah.
You know, being the mayor and stuff. Also, we've had a lot of meetings and things over the last couple of weeks. Obviously, the show's progressing. You may not see it, but we're progressing.
It's growing. Believe it or not, we're actually getting listeners all around the world now in Europe,
wow.
Russia. Like
we got a few in Russia. Yeah, I was kind of like,
Shrewsbury.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Lots in Shrewsbury. Lots in Shrewsbury.
Yeah. Nobody in Shrewsbury, but like we're getting loads in Shrewsbury.
We got listeners in California, which is odd. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah,
but
it's nice.
Yeah. But I want to move from this kitchen, which is, it looks like a great setup, but when you when you've done this for a while, you realise I've just tacked on microphones to my wife's dining room table.
Literally.
So, but the plan is to move the biscuit into town. You know, we want to be right in the middle of what's going on, and we want to be like this beacon and this voice for everything that's going on in the town. So let's move it into town, and there's discussion going on about that as we speak. And also we're starting the Darwin Festival planning. It's very early on, but these things take a while. I'm going to keep you, up to date with everything that's going on there. So yeah, that's it. And so Louise, why have we brought you here? What we were talking at Participate about what you do. Let's find out a bit about you first. So who are you?
Who are you?
Yeah, I think I was attracted by the biscuit.
Yes.
The biscuit.
She was more disappointed that there was no biscuits.
Do you know what? I can get the conversation onto biscuits. It's fine. So I'm Louise Tanner-Stokes, and I'm building the anti-dieting revolution. So I'm actually a registered dietitian, but I prefer to call myself a food relationship coach because, well, that's a completely made-up title, I think. As far as I'm aware, I don't think it's an actual, official thing that you can train as. It might be, I don't know. But it kind of explains more what I do, really, because I'm on a mission to help mums ditch the diets. I'm just, really anti the dieting industry, basically. I just think it's messing things up for people. And
that's
people
interesting.
So, as a dietitian, are these things that you've learned throughout the years doing what you do, or is it just like one of these things you've always had a burning desire to tell people? You know?
Wow. I only actually worked as a dietitian for a little while because I really didn't enjoy working in a hospital. I think it was about 9 months in the end, so I found it quite disillusioning, which is. Yeah, it was a bit sad, really, because I wanted to be a dietitian for a couple of years and took a couple of years to train, going back to uni. I actually worked for NHS weight loss services over in Telford. And, when did I start that? It must have been 2010. And I just kept hearing the same kind of story over and over again of people who had, they'd started dieting when they only needed to lose maybe a few pounds, or they didn't even need to lose any weight, and they'd go on a diet and they lose the weight, and then they'd find it too difficult, go back to their old eating habits, put the weight back on again, plus a bit more, and they'd just kind of yo-yo from being on a diet to not being on a diet and just completely binging and they just get bigger and bigger and bigger and just build up this can I swear?
Unfortunately not, but
rubbish. I'll say rubbish then.
Yeah.
They just build up this really rubbish relationship with food where they love it, but they just find it such a struggle, and they just And
I feel you on that one because, as you can tell, I'm quite a big guy, but I never used to be. I used to be really skinny.
You did, didn't you? Well, you were relatively well built as well, weren't you?
Yeah.
At one point,
I was, and I was I was on Herbalife. I used Herbalife for a while, which was absolutely great. Whilst I was doing it, I was at the gym 3 times a week. I got down to about 12 stone or something like that from like 16 and a half, I think it was. It was like a huge change for my lifestyle, and I used to love it. I used to bash out like 5K on a treadmill every day, and I just, as great as it was being skinnier, and it was all the family were like, "Oh, you're looking great," and all stuff. I just wasn't happy. I wasn't going out and having beers with the guys, and I wasn't eating like the nice food, and I wasn't living the lifestyle that I kind of wanted, and I wasn't happy. So I just stopped. And what happens when you go from a liquid diet of Herbalife to a normal diet? You tend to throw on the pounds very quickly as well, very quickly.
Yeah.
So you've basically explained me, and I do want to lose a few pounds because obviously, like the biscuit being in the public eye now, I don't want to be walking around or waddling around like I do.
I mean, I get it as well. I mean, I'm like 17 and a half stone.
Nothing of you.
I'm 17 and a half stone, but I am 6'1". But like last year when I was doing the boxing, I went down to about 14, 15 stone or something, which probably isn't far off where I should be, sort of, maybe a bit heavier, but
it's just a number.
Yeah. But I bought a suit. That's really annoyed me, right? Because I bought a suit specifically for the after boxing match sort of party kind of thing. I was paid it's quite expensive, and I bought this really nice blue suit. And I wore it, and it felt good. And I'd never really paid that kind of money for clothes before, and I was really like, I was like, oh, yeah, I feel good. And then I sort of got hung up. I never used it again. And then I had a cause to put it on like start of this year, and
my bad. Sorry, I was messing.
and I tried to put it on, and it wouldn't fit. It would not fit at all. Like, it looked ridiculous. It was way too tight. And I was like, that's like less than 12 months later.
So demoralising that is, isn't it?
And I hadn't actually got on the scales at that point. And I was like, well, how heavy am I? And I went on scales. I was like, holy crap. Like, I put on like 2 stone in less than 12 months. Yeah. And I was like, how the hell has that happened? And I didn't even realise it at all. It just happened.
Up on you.
It does, yeah.
So what we've just done is we just reiterated all the stories that you've heard over the time when you're doing this.
She's cracking her knuckles now going, right. Listen here, boys.
But this is the thing. It's like people think that to lose weight, they've got to do something extreme, that they've got to change everything and they've got to follow this kind of perfect eating plan, or they've got to do, use meal replacements or something like that. And it's just, that's making things worse for people, because it's about tweaking the little habits that have caused you to gain weight, if you've gained weight, or it's just about, doing something that you can do forever, basically. And it's getting that balance, because you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have the perfect body. Does that even exist,
I think it's perfect if you're happy.
Hashtag dad bod.
But it's finding what works for you and what's going to fit in with your lifestyle. And I think that's what I'm all about, is about getting back to that balance of enjoying your food, doing the things that are healthy for you, but you don't have to take it to the extreme.
No.
You don't have to be exercising you're supposed to try and exercise every day. You're supposed to try and be a bit more, active every day, but you don't have to be slogging it out at the gym every day. You don't have to
it's something which I can remember my sister saying, because obviously I went on a bit of I've put on all this weight now, but it's something she said. She goes, in this day and age, there's no reason for exercise to be a chore. There's plenty of things. There's swimming, there's rock climbing, there's
aerial hoop. That's what I
there's so many things that you can do.
Yeah.
Find something that you enjoy doing. As soon as you start enjoying doing it, it's not a chore anymore.
I feel attacked right now. I'm joking. Sorry, laugh out, fat boy.
You just got to find something you enjoy.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, when a few years ago, before I moved to Shrewsbury, I was playing a lot of football. I was running about, and I was doing, So now I'm in a job where I sit in an office or walk around a scheme throughout the night, and I don't really do a lot. I'm lucky if I get 10,000 steps out of a day with my job. So I feel like there's more of an incentive there to go out and do things. I've got a gym membership which I don't use, which
so is everybody.
And I see these guys, like, I've noticed more people around Shrewsbury just out there running than anywhere else, and I want to get out there and join them, but I don't want to be the guy at the back. And
you got to start. You're still going faster than everyone sat on the couch, mate.
Or you could walk.
Yeah,
you could just walk. It doesn't have to be running if you don't want to.
Yeah, that's what I love about living where I live, is because when my days off, when I've got my little boy, we're in a great place where you can just walk through Coleham down into by the river, and you can
you could in some places, yeah.
You just go for a swim.
Wild swim. I know people that do that. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God.
They're not like good friends, but I know of people that do it.
Yeah. But
we don't talk about them.
Friends are friends.
Yeah. Just distant acquaintances, probably. Saw them in the shop once.
So what are the main reasons then for like failed diets? What are the main reasons you've heard? The things why people have fallen off the wagon, so to speak.
Oh my goodness, anything. Just it gets too difficult. Life gets in the way. You
go on holiday and there's a buffet every
holiday,
day.
Parties and people. And I think this is the thing. People, when they're making changes, and they're trying to change too much, and they're trying to change everything, and then they have like the party, or they go on holiday, or there's a buffet at work, or whatever, and they do what I call a pig out, or the splurge, whatever you want to call it, and they think that's it. I've completely blown it, and they think they just have to give up. And actually, do you know what? One day doesn't make a difference. Like Christmas, it's just one day. Well, it's supposed to be just one day, but it doesn't have to make a difference. And I think that's where people often stumble, is that they think that's it. I've blown it. I might as well just.
So they give up too easily, or.
Yeah, I don't want to say give up too easy because that sounds a bit judgmental, doesn't it? And I think people feel judged a lot of the time, and that has a big part to play as well. The guilt, this idea that you're sat here, you're saying you're feeling guilty and everything, but you don't have to be.
No, I mean,
just because somebody else is running doesn't mean they're better than you.
I mean, I think one of the main reasons why I don't go out there and try and look like Channing Tatum or whatever is because I'm married, I'm happy, I'm not chasing women, I don't need to impress anyone. Yeah. I'm happy with how, I know I could lose a few pounds because there's pictures of me appearing in the paper and magazines and things now, and I'm kind of like, that's the only reason is that I don't. It's a stigma, isn't there, attached to kind of big guys like me. And you know what, I work hard, so, and I'm happy, and I'm married, and I've got a good family and this show and stuff. So, but it's always there in the back of my mind, like you said, and it's a common psyche, isn't it? So I've done it so many times. I've been like, right, there's no more sugar, there's no more sweets, no more cakes, nothing like that. And then in
Too
work,
extreme.
yeah, so that's too extreme.
Yeah, you got to find the balance. And I just wanted to say, when you're saying, you're happy and you're doing what you want to do and everything, that's kind of more important, really.
Yeah.
It's got to be important enough to you to get you to do it, really.
Yeah.
But again, it's finding that balance. It's finding what's going to work for you. And if running every day isn't going to work for you, then don't do it. Run once a week or walk.
Yeah.
Or walk.
Yeah, or walk.
Yeah.
Or just, do
what's
what
your
you want to
excuse?
do. Do what you want to do. Do what you want to do.
I feel like swimming could be the way forward.
You know
for
what?
me.
I don't want to mention a name, but like my mum.
Your mum's been mentioned on the show many times, Shane, isn't it?
My mum, she was a big woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she struggled with weight loss for years. For as far back as I can remember, she's been trying various different diets, all sorts of stuff. And she'll try it for a bit, won't see much of a change, and she'll just bin it because, that's it. And she also comfort eats as well. So as soon as she gets a bit stressed or a bit sad, she's straight into the kitchen. She's one of those. And do you know what? I'm actually really proud of her because she's a certain age, and she's old enough to have 4 kids over 25. So and she just started swimming, and she started swimming for a bit. And then I can remember when she first went into like the actual gym, she started going to Bannatynes, and she was swimming, and she did that for a bit, and then she went on a I think it's a treadmill or a cross train or something, and she said she managed 3 minutes, and she was all negative about it, and she was just like, I only did 3 minutes, and I said, well, keep at it. I said that's now your marker. I was like, hit 3 minutes every time, and then try and do a bit more. And she did. That my mum, by the time she kind of, I don't want to say finished, but she developed that asthma she could get, because of her age or something, I don't know. She developed this kind of asthma, basically.
Oh, your mum's going to love you listening back to the podcast, by the way.
So
she's really old, right? And she's
no, but to be fair to her, though, she ended up within 12 months being from going 2-3 minutes on a treadmill to running 5k.
I saw that, and I follow your mum on Facebook, and I saw that. She's.
I was like, fair play to her, fair play, and I can't knock her for that at all. And it's been hard for her because she was so big, it's been hard to do it, and she did shrink. She's half the woman now. I'm just sort of like, I remember I didn't see her for a while because obviously work and stuff. I didn't see her for ages, and then I walked in the house. I was like, are you all right? Are you ill? What's the matter? She goes, no, I've been swimming and stuff. I'm like, okay, that works.
Well done, Mum.
So fair dues to her.
Good on her. Yeah, it's about just building it in as a new habit and building it up gradually within your own body's capability, really.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I just think she got fed up with my dad and she wanted to get out for a bit. But
You've got to have a bit of me time.
Yeah.
So I've been watching a few of your videos and things like that, and the one I remember is one where you were saying, like, make small changes, make little tweaks.
Tweaks.
Yeah.
I love talking about tweaks. Yeah, just tweak it. You don't have to change everything. Just, think about if you've gained weight, think about what habits have you built up, what kind of, what's snuck up on you really, and what can you change back again? Because it is the little habits that make a big difference long term. And, it doesn't, like I just keep saying it over and over again, but it doesn't have to be everything. Just little things can make a big difference. Just try and include I don't know, a piece of fruit or veg with every meal. And before you know it, you're getting your 5 a day, which we're supposed to get at least 5 a day, more than 5. Little things like that can really build up over time. Just does make a big difference.
Do you address some of the myths you hear about certain foods and about certain techniques? What would you suggest is like some of the most common myths out there about dieting and because there's certain foods they're like oh, spinach is a superfood, just eat a bowl of spinach a day, or
superfoods it's a marketing term.
Yeah.
It really is. It's a marketing term. It actually doesn't mean anything, because nutrition isn't it's not this kind of simple, these foods are good, these foods are bad. It's about the overall balance. There's no perfect foods. There's no one food that's going to really sort everything else out. As much as I love avocados, they're not like this magic cure or anything.
No.
It's just this.
I think
you
it's
don't
more
have to buy those expensive things.
Do you think if it's the reason why they're classed as superfoods is because you say there's these 4 foods that are amazing, and you sway more towards those foods and less to chips and burgers and things like that? That's the reason why you're losing weight, is because you're eating less carbs and you're enjoying you're eating these foods as well instead. Is that the case?
Possibly, but that's another myth. The old carbs, carbs.
Really?
I love carbs. I eat carbs at every meal.
Really?
Really, really important.
Me too.
Starchy carbs.
I mean,
Starchy carbs, whole grains preferably. But that's a big one. Skipping the carbs. So many people I've worked with over the years, whether it's through my own work or with NHS, people skipping the carbs and then just snacking on biscuits later because they're actually hungry.
Yeah.
It does make a big difference if you try and include the starchy carbs at every meal. Trying to get the whole meal balanced so that you're giving your body what it needs. Then getting that good balance stops you snacking later.
Oh, fantastic. Right, so we're talking about dieting. We've just been talking about, but we haven't been talking about what you do. What are you doing to tackle this? Where can people find you? What is the name of what you do, and what is it you do?
Well,
podcaster, he says. I'm going to do a podcast.
If you're on Facebook, I've got a Facebook page. So if you search Louise Tanner-Stokes or the Anti-Dieting Rebel. We're rebelling against the dieting industry, because do you know what? You can eat the biscuits. It's fine. You can eat the cake. You can eat all the things that you love. But it's just not, it's getting away from this kind of extreme of, eating all the cake and all the biscuits, or you're on a diet. I'm doing that annoying inverted.
The amount of people that do inverted commas.
Yeah,
I always say, like, when you do that, when you do the inverted commas, it always shows in the audio anyway. So
I don't like talking about good food or bad food, and all food is good.
All about moderation.
It is. It's about balance. It's about getting a balance of everything. I've got a free Facebook group, which is for mums, just because I tend to kind of work more with mums, although I'm not strict on the mum thing. I have got mums of fur babies in there. So that's called the Anti-Dieting Revolution. And I've got a free course, which is called the Healthy Eating Explained, which is all about just going back to the basics of a normal, healthy, balanced diet. So I do look at, I talk about food groups, so explaining the different food groups, which starchy carbs is a big one, is a big group in there. I look at the portion sizes. I look at how to, make your meals balanced and make it simple, and share tips and things. But you don't have to follow it all perfectly. So I'm like, this is what a healthy balanced diet is. But do you know what? Just pick 1 or 2 things. You don't have to change everything. There's some freebies there. And then if people need that little bit more support, I've got my subscription service, which is a low-cost way of getting my support via email. You get a video from me every week with a short kind of, it's like a little nudge in the right direction, some things to think about.
Bit of coaching, a bit of a...
Yeah. It's very much a process. It's very much a long-term process of changing the way that you look at eating and changing the way that you look at weight and weight loss, and so that you just ditch the diets, basically. Get away from all that dieting, deprivation and
it's good to have that,
things.
though, because like you said, some people fall off, they go off the rails, they fall off the wagon. It's good that they've got that continuous reminder from you. It's like, you're doing great, carry on doing what you're doing, doesn't matter about what you did yesterday, let's keep going forward. I like that. That's really good.
And it's not just about what you're eating, it's looking at how you feel about yourself and enjoying your life and all that
Positive
kind of
reinforcement.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just if things all feel like they're going completely wrong, it's not the end of the world, and it's building this kind of building the skills that you need to be able to manage it all.
Maybe you can
forever,
help me.
really.
We can build Alex's biscuit body.
You're not getting more in shape than I am. You can't have that.
The thing is with me, right? I've noticed that. Say I cut something out my diet, or I go say 6 weeks without eating something, I can drop the weight quite quickly. I mean, a few weeks ago, it was Garrett that was on Torskin was like, "Geez, you've lost loads of weight, man. Stop it!" And I'm back here again. Like I'm yo-yo weight.
Yeah,
guy,
I'm a yo-yo. I bounce between just about top end of 16 to like 17.5 stone. I just seem to waver between those.
That's a big gap there. 16 and 17.5 stone. Which one is it, buddy?
No, honestly, I bounce
really
that far.
I'm
yeah,
the same. So how's the response been then? Well, actually, first of all, let's answer. How long have you been doing the Facebook thing? How long has it been going for?
Gosh.
Has it been a while?
Baby brain's going to kick in now. God, when was it? I originally went self-employed in I think it was June 2014, but I was doing things very differently. And then I had my little girl in 2015. So I think I moved. I'm having to kind of mentally go through the years here. I think I moved everything kind of more online around about, would have been 2017 when I really started to kind of, put stuff out regularly.
Yeah.
I made my course, the first version of the free course. So yeah, it's been a couple of years. I'd say.
The response has been good.
Gradual, slow, steady. I think people are still looking for that kind of. A lot of people want that kind of quick fix.
Yeah.
And I think it's convincing people that actually slow and steady is much better. Slow and steady, looking at changing things for life. I've worked with people one-to-one, and they've I get people saying, I've learned some really amazing things, and I can see now that it's what you're saying at the start. I thought, do you know what, this is, I don't know if this is going to work, and then after a while, it's like, yeah, no, I get this.
It's good. What you're offering is really good, because I've got a friend, big shout out to Derry Jones, by the way, who I grew up in Wrexham. When I was doing my fitness thing, he started his own fitness company, and he did really well, and he does all these videos on Twitter and Facebook, and he's very much these videos like, hey, you, come train with me, get off the couch. He's very inspirational, but when I started putting the weight back on and I wasn't training, and I'd see one of his videos, I'd just very quickly scroll past it. I don't want to see that. I need to swallow that. I don't want to see that. I'm sorry, Derry, but it's one of those things, like you said, the guilt and things come back when you see things like that. But with you, what you do is you take like a very friendly approach. It's like, hey guys, how's it going? That's nice. And that's really good, because there's no intimidation. I say the word intimidation. It's not. It's meant to be motivation, isn't it? But with the psyche of like the guilt, it feels quite. But so you've got a friendly approach to it, which I think people would respond to more, and hopefully the listeners that listening to this today will definitely check you out on Facebook.
So has been if you found it has been on your new program or whatever, really good success stories, like have people lost a lot of weight going by, or
I try. I can't really talk about my one-to-one clients. It's a bit difficult. So I don't tend to do the whole kind of showing pictures of before and after, because it's not always about the weight. We focus on how they feel and all that kind of thing, and then the weight loss kind of it comes with it eventually. If that makes sense.
So do you think some of weight gain is to do with like for want of a better phrase, like a mental health, or like your mood, or like your standard of living and that kind of stuff, rather than the physical?
I definitely think it plays a part, because I've worked with people who they've gone through difficulties and they've they turn to comfort eating and things like that, and it's then when they try and lose weight and they go on these diets, and the diets don't address the issues, they don't address the
underlying
comfort eating, they don't address looking after yourself and doing things that are going to make you feel happy. They just say, this is how you've got to eat, and these are the foods you're not allowed to eat, and then people want to eat those because they're not allowed to eat it, and then they then they feel like they've blown it, and then they start beating themselves up, and
it's a vicious cycle, then, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle, and then that's when they kind of go round in circles. And so I've worked with a few people one-to-one who they've really they've worked on that side of things.
Yeah.
And they're slowly seeing it.
I mean, I'm all for getting counselling and sorting your mental health out, and because I think it's really important. As we're going with exercising and stuff, I think it's right up there. You've got to look after your mental health and your mood and that kind of stuff. And I think that with regards to weight loss, I think a lot of it, personally speaking, a lot of it does stem from your mood.
Well, they said that exercise can be just as good as an antidepressant. Because there's you burning off all that excess.
It's all
energy.
kind of linked, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're addressing new mums and things like that, because it can't be easy when you're sleep deprived, when you've got a baby clinging on to you.
They're isolated as well,
and it must be really hard. Can you imagine not sleeping all night, and the couple of hours that you do get, you want to go to the gym? It must be really hard.
It's not just that as well. I mean, you sleep deprived and stuff. You look after this baby 24/7. Generally on the whole, dad's usually at work, kind of thing, or whatever. And now you've got to eat asparagus. Do you know what I mean?
The look on his face, he looks mortified. Yeah.
You're not going to do it. Oh yeah, let's be honest. You just could be like, I just want a massive wedge of toast or something with a load of butter on it, just because it's, because it generally it's nicer, because you do want your biscuits just because it's quicker and it's
when
easier.
You're sleep deprived, you are geared up to fancying those kind of treat type things, snacky type
and
things,
they're quicker and they're easier.
I often tend to work one-to-one with people who maybe mums who may be a little bit further along than that, so they're maybe a bit older, their kids are starting to not need them as much. But, I do have people in my free group and on my subscription service who are kind of they've got younger children and things, but I think sometimes it's Yeah. I was going to say then. Oh dear.
Well, that
baby brain.
Have you noticed? Because obviously in Shrewsbury we live in this place where there's always something going on in the quarry. There's always something going on somewhere. Have you seen any opportunities where you can maybe go to an event and be like, "Hi, this is Louise Tanner-Stokes. This is what I do. Come and see me." Is there any opportunities there for you? I feel like you could probably do something. I should do.
I should do. I have to admit, I'm not very good at getting out there. I do kind of hide behind my laptop a little bit. When I've got my child-free days, I sit there and I hide. I'm a little bit of an introvert, really.
I get like that though.
I do need to get out there a bit more, because I'm sure I could do.
I think you got something. You got something new here. I've never heard anything like this before. And I've got sisters. I've got obviously my mum and stuff, and I'm aware of a lot of different diets and stuff, because they've tried all sorts of combinations of different stuff, and I've never heard of this before. So I think you got something new, and I think that if you could, if you find a way of getting out there a bit, then you definitely should, because I think it's new.
I've seen a few things like it where you've got. What was it? I think it was something in Wrexham, maybe in Acton Park in Wrexham, where they'd encourage people to come along, bring their kids along with the buggies or whatever, and then just do exercise when the kids are around.
There's loads of fab mummy kind of. I used to go to Mummy Fit. I don't know if it's still going at the Shrewsbury Club, but I know they used to have walks with buggies and things like that, and that kind of thing's great, because you get out there and you're getting active and you're meeting other mums and things, and I'd love to catch people before they get really stuck in that yo-yo dieting cycle, because the people that I've often worked with are the people who they're well in there, and it gets harder then. It does get harder once you really kind of stuck yo-yoing and you've really built up that crap relationship with food and everything.
Sorry, my laptop's like, "Hey, would you want to use this program instead?" And I'm like, "No, I'm busy, thanks."
We're using said program.
Yeah, we're using something else. Go away. Well, we've got you. We're connected now with this, so if there's anything that the Shrewsbury Biscuit can help you with, encouraging people to kind of to link up with you and listen to what you've got to say and taking part in what content you put out there, that we can work together with that. And that's what this is all about. Everything that we do with the Biscuit, it's all about collaboration and communication and sharing.
We're basically trying to link up the town, aren't we?
Well,
it's sort of in a way. Like we're just trying to sort of we're giving Shrewsbury a voice, and people like yourselves and other people we just that wouldn't necessarily have an opportunity like this to sit down and talk about it candidly.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the cat outside.
Yeah, the cat just
I love cats. I love cats.
back into. I was just like,
Is that yours?
no, it's next door's cat. It's cool.
Oh,
It's cool, but yeah.
Love it.
It's
Yeah, I definitely need to get out there in Shrewsbury a bit more. It's really hard when you've got a little girl and
Yes.
but she's she's going to nursery a bit more and so yeah, I need to.
My little boy starts school in September, which means the week, half the week that I usually have him, I'm going to be sat around the house like, you know, I'm going to be so bored. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. So,
You'll find stuff.
I'm pretty sure that's the time when I'm going to be like, running and stuff.
it.
Maybe, well, I hope this goes really well for you because, you put a lot of hard work into it and it's going to benefit a lot of people because, life is a baby conveyor belt, isn't it? There's always somebody out there who's just had a baby, wants to lose a bit of weight. There's always a guy like me that needs to lose. So there's always someone there to take advantage of what you're doing. So listeners, if you're listening to this now, make sure you check. Where can people find you? You said Facebook.
Facebook is probably the first place. I do have a website. I'm laughing because I haven't actually looked at it and updated it in a while because I'm not massively techie either. But that's societyofselfesteem.co.uk because that was what I originally called my business when I first started. So you can go and have a little look and there should be some links on there. I'm gonna have to go and update that now just to check the links are all right. So the links to my freebies and things and then obviously there's my Facebook group and I'm on LinkedIn as well, which people always go, LinkedIn, but actually it's it's.
I feel like we should get on LinkedIn because there's a lot of people that prefer to use that professionally than Facebook and things.
Yeah,
so.
it's
getting more fun. It's getting more fun now.
Is it?
It's not always as stuffy as.
I always
as people
thought
think
it was like a business Facebook.
It is, yeah, but then it depends who you link with, I guess. I'm linked with some fun people.
It's like don't send me kitten memes.
Yeah,
let's have a conversation about what you want to do. Yeah. It's very much what it's like, and there's probably a good place where we can link up with people. So that's where you can find you. Is there anything that you're looking forward to in Shrewsbury over the next few months? Because we've got the flower show and things. It's such a great town. There's always so much going on.
I can't think. I get a bit out of touch with what's going on. I really love the Bellevue Art Festival, which I think everything's kind of. Yeah. I think everything's happened now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's all done now. Yeah.
Yeah, I really love the open gardens because I'm a bit nosy, so I like kind of wandering. I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm nosy.
You're not bothered about the garden; you just want to have a look around someone's house.
A little bit of that as well, yeah. Well, the houses and the gardens, yeah, it is that.
We did that. I kind of wandered around the open gardens, things like that, and it was tearing down with rain. It was like sun and then rain and sun and then rain and then. People were inviting me into their houses just to keep out the rain and stuff like that. And it just makes you realise how many friendly people there are about you. I mean, I met a guy on Trinity Street who was like, "Oh, you're the biscuit guy." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm the biscuit guy." Do
the podcast.
Podcast. Well, Louise, thank you so much for joining us.
We didn't talk about biscuits.
Okay, let's do this because it fits in with us.
I love biscuits.
I love biscuits too.
I'm more of a cake person normally, but we've got to talk about biscuits.
What's your favourite biscuit then?
Wow. I've got a few.
What's your top 3?
Is it Foxes do these chunky
the cream
cookies.
Ones, yeah, the cream cookie things, yeah.
Chunky cookies, and it's the dark chocolate ones that I like because they're vegan, they're accidentally vegan. So the dark chocolate chunky cookies, they're definitely good dunkers. Not for too long because you'd lose it all. But I also like mint Oreos.
Mint Oreos.
Mint Oreos or the chocolate cream ones because they kind of remind me of Romany Gypsy creams. But again, they're accidentally vegan because although I'm vegan, I don't always like mentioning I'm vegan because people think, I think I got to go vegan. But I'm only vegan for the animals. You don't have to be vegan to follow what I recommend. It's
because I very nearly became vegan. I've never. I'm kind of. The thing is, right? I've spoken about this on the show before, but one of my heroes is Kevin Smith. He made Clerks, Mallrats, Dogma. He's a famous director, and he got really big, and he was trying to lose a bit of weight, but what really kicked him into losing a bit more weight and becoming more healthy is he had a really bad heart attack. And so he switched vegan because his daughter's vegan, and she was like, "You do what I'm doing," and he's lost loads of weight. He's like, you wouldn't recognize him now. And I'm thinking, maybe there's something there. Less milk, not so much milk, tea, meat and things.
It can be very unhealthy.
Yeah.
It can still be unhealthy. I think that's the thing. People think that, again, it's that quick fix kind of miracle cure mentality.
Yeah.
It can be unhealthy because chips are still vegan.
Okay.
If you're living on chips. But then likewise, it can be more healthy, because it's if it's difficult to find the kind of the treats and things. But I know how to find the treats. Accidentally vegan is a great one for finding the accidentally vegan goodies. But yeah, sometimes the good old bourbon is a good one as well.
Good old bourbon.
But yeah,
Hobnobs for me. Hobnobs are the don. And if we're going to talk about cookies, I like those oatmeal and raisin cookies.
Really?
They're nice. They are.
I do
really
like
good.
oatmeal ones.
Yeah.
My husband sometimes makes gingerbread zombies as well.
Gingerbread zombies. What's
Got
that?
little zombie cookie cutters
Oh wow!
and just
Mint.
make gingerbread. Yeah, they're quite nice as well.
That's
Quite nice
pretty
for
cool.
Dunkin'.
Is that to alleviate the guilt of biting into a human shape? Well, he's kind of dead anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very
It's
much
been
for
really
having me on
good.
the show.
I'm going to end up with just by saying a lot about what we got planned. Just today, actually, I've just got in touch with Extinction Rebellion.
Fab.
They've just done this. I don't know what they call it, but a die protest where they just went into Barclays Bank and they just lay on the floor dead, to protest that apparently. But the banks they fund a lot of really harmful projects in the world and stuff. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this in a way that we don't necessarily agree with everything they're doing, but I definitely agree with climate change. I think there needs to be big changes. So we're going to do this very impartial. I want to give them a voice. They got something to say. Rather than have them lying on the floor in banks and things like that, we'll give them a microphone and let them put into what they want to say into context.
Yeah.
And people can listen to that because I think it's really important that, like I said, there are changes that need to be made with climate change. I think I saw a post the other day about the Amazon because of all these things, these laws that they've upturned in like Colombia and Venezuela. They're just smashing hell out of the forests and stuff, which is really, really bad. So yeah, we'll get them on. I think they'll be really interesting to talk to. We'll give them a voice. Also, the flower show, I've messaged them today. I would love to just turn up. Imagine if we could just take the task cam and just walk around and just be like, oh, there's this and oh, there's that, and kind of capture the essence of what the flower show is and what it means. Our listeners abroad would definitely appreciate that. It's one of the biggest shows in the country, So we'll do that, and Chris Shirk as well.
Yeah, legend.
We're gonna do a Chris Shirk sequel. Do you know Chris Shirk? He does the Shrewsbury From Where You Are Not.
Yes.
I follow. I thought I recognised the name. Yeah, I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah,
Really nice guy.
We're gonna do a sequel with him. We're gonna do Chris Shirk 2.
Cool.
We're gonna get him on. I wanted to get in somewhere like really eerie to record a podcast. So I was like, "Can you get us into McDonald's?" And he was at McDonald's basement cellar or whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, I can get you in." I was like, legitimately though. And he was like, "No." No. And I was like, "We can't do a podcast." But like, yeah, we partake in breaking and entering now.
Yeah, it's a thing. So
he was like, "I'll climb through the roof and just pop open the fire." I was like, no. I've heard that the guys at Castle Carpets have got like a really nice cellar, and of course the Prince Rupert. So we'll get in touch. We'll sort something cool out for that. But Louise, thank you very much for joining us. It's been really nice chatting to you.
Thanks for having
And
me,
if there's anything we can help you with, if you want to come on again, if you have something that went off last time.
It did.
Do you know what that is? That I call that my oil, because it was my old watch, and that alarm goes off for no reason other than for me to turn it off. And it was just one of those things that just. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe this episode. If you've got anything to add, you can email us at shrewsburybiscuitpodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Facebook. One more time, where can people find you? Louise Tanner-Stokes.
Yes, on Facebook. It's my Facebook page, The Anti-Darting Rebel.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you very much.
Peace out.
Cheers.
Peace out, guys.